What's going on out there, my fellow Buck fans? What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. I hope everything is good. I hope your weekend was fine. I want to welcome you to another great episode of Bucs Report, the Aftermath. Before, always subscribe to that channel, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. We are here because we love the game of football first, then our Bucs. So we got a lot to talk about today. So we're going to go from the news of Myles Garrett, AJ Brown. It's a lot going on. The expectations of the Bucs with the Bucs scheduling and what it means, and just how things have shaken up because of this situation. So, as always, though, appreciate y'all. My co-host Slick, aka the British guy who's always flies on standby. We're gonna talk about that, and then we got a lot of shit we're gonna get off my chest today. We're gonna talk a lot about delusional fan bases and why, unfortunately, everyone who has an opinion doesn't deserve to express an opinion. We're gonna talk about why we do facts over feelings. We're gonna talk about why it's better to think than react. And yes, we're going to talk about them silly ass Saints fan base in a minute. But let's just get to like the big news. Myles Garrett went to the Rams. In return, the Browns got Jared Verse. They got a first round. They got a second and a third for him. Now, as of right now, I will say this is a sign that this is going to be Stafford's last year, and the Rams are all in. The Rams are all in, and I'm not mad at them for that. I think, hey, swing for the fence. As you can see, the Rams want to win a Super Bowl, and I honestly think they got a lot of making up anyway for that damn first round pick and that quarterback. I'm sure McVay said, look, something got to happen or I'm gone because I ain't doing this shit. I'm not going through this anymore. So, again, shout out to the Rams, I guess. Browns. I think, in my opinion, I just don't know about Cleveland at this point. Like, Cleveland, y'all got to tighten the fuck up. Seriously, Cleveland. Y'all have let too many legends go. I mean, not legends, but you got to get your quarterback situation taken care of. So with that being said, that's why it does play a part for the Bucs, because now we don't see Myles Garrett until much later on down the line in January. And depending on where they're going to be, the Bucs, it could either be a game that we need to show that we can hang with the big dogs and make noise in the playoffs, or it's going to be another shit show. It's going to be another dumpster fire where we just get our asses whooped and just hope for that we blow the shit up and get some guys in at that point. So it's really going to be up. It's really going to be up to Bowles, the coaching staff, the health of the players, but for the most part, coaching. You coach right, we're going to be all right. There's no excuse, Bowles. You have everything at your disposal. You have everything. Now, AJ Brown goes to the Patriots. They get a first round and a fifth. That's cool. I mean, we knew AJ Brown was going to be gone. So Eagles, it's a good thing you got your receiver, but you don't have a true X anymore. It's going to be different. We're going to see a lot, again, out of this Eagles team of what they're going to be able to do now without the presence of A.J. Brown. Just like the Bucs are going to have to understand what they got to do without the presence of Mike Evans. It's going to be an interesting situation. It really is. It's going to be something to look out for. And all of this does affect the Bucs because now the Eagles are going to be a team where they're in a way because now losing AJ Brown makes them more vulnerable because now you don't have an X receiver that commands double coverage. Devontae Smith is a very good number 2 wide receiver. If not, he's probably arguably the best number 2 wide receiver in the league. Now, but we know he's not a true X. He's not a true number 1. And that means Saquon and the Eagles line has got to stay tight. I mean, shit, their great right tackle is on his last legs, as it seems. He's got to be able to stay healthy. So I think that covers a lot when it comes to the Rams. Myles Garrett, he's gonna do wonders with that team, I think. And the Rams are legit they're gonna be in Super Bowl contention. Let's be real. The NFC West has gotten a lot more interesting now. You got the 49ers with Evans, and if they can stay healthy as well with Kittle, and then Brock Purdy can stay healthy, Fred Warner will be back. The NFC West is going to be a fucking battle, a gauntlet, and I'm here for it. Rams, 49ers. I'm just saying, well, Cardinals, they're going to be trash. So we all know Cardinals ain't going nowhere. Cardinals ain't doing shit. But everybody else, NFC West, watch out, y'all. Watch out, world. Seahawks is going to be. I think the Seahawks will be a playoff team, but they'll be done. But it's still going to be a gauntlet. It's going to be a gauntlet in that division. Man, oh man, oh man. So again, shout out to the Rams. Again, Cleveland, what are you going to do? You don't have a quarterback situation yet. Now you've let Myles Garrett go. There goes 90% of your defense. So Cleveland, I don't know if that was the right move, but we'll find out. We're going to find out soon. We're going to find out soon. But as always, let's just get into the topic of discussion. We're here because, and I know that, again, I try not to be political all the time, or not anytime, but after going on my TikTok, which you guys got to check out, AJ_turnup. That's where I go out there and I just sit there and talk football. I drop logic. I try to get facts. I give opinions. I can be very passionate in what I do. As you all know, that's what I love. I'm a very passionate person, but there's a difference between passionate and emotional. I am a passionate person. When you're passionate, you still have facts to support your statement and you're trying to be logical or rational. When you're emotional, you just respond without any context because you just want to be right. That's not how I like to move. Unfortunately, after the past few weeks of talking football with the New Orleans Saints fan base, I can tell you this, Saints fans, it's your fan base on TikTok right now is doing a disservice to your team. Your fan base does not seem to have the intelligence that to carry a conversation and keep it strictly football. Saints fans, may I remind you, you went 6-11 last season. May I remind you, you don't know, you still have an unproven quarterback. May I remind you, Kamara, y'all thinking about shipping him off, saying that you could save $14 million if you let him go. Saints fans, you lost to Mario Davis. Now, for some of the Saints fans that I've talked to, oh, he was old anyway. That's the Mario Davis. Oh, we got Ellis. Ellis is not Davis. Cam Jordan is gone. You lost one of your top tier corners. Well, they still got their number one. Okay, but what about the number 2 guy now? Now people have film on Tyler Shough. And all I hear is we got better. We got Jordan Tyson. You don't know what Jordan Tyson is going to do yet. We're talking about the proven people on your roster. Now, that's not to say that it can't happen, but where is the logic behind it? So all of a sudden, Saints fans, you're going to be an 11-win team. You're going to win the NFC South. you're going to just skip past the Bucs, the Panthers, the Falcons. So that's the kind of confidence you're on. And you are more than welcome to have that. I just need a logical explanation. And unfortunately, Saints fans, your guys that's out there trying to talk for you couldn't do it. I asked simple football questions. Okay, well, give me Kellen Moore's philosophy. Why is that important? Then, okay, at least Google the shit. No, he just runs a West Coast. Well, what kind of West Coast? What type of timing does he like to do? What type of scheme is he going to does he like to do with the Saints? He passes. You see, all these generic ass basic surface level answers. This is why it's hard to take people serious when the issue is, if you don't know something, it's okay to say, you know what? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with that, or let me get back with you on that. No, in this day and age, we have a lot of silly ass people out there that really just think that they know everything. And then when you call them out on their shit, or you're not even trying to be mean, but you're trying to, when you correct them, they want to get upset. They want to attack you personally. Why? All you had to do is just say, I don't know, especially for some of these, for a lot of these men out here. Like, what is with the idiotic behavior? If you don't know something, just say it. If you don't realize that Kellen Moore likes to throw the ball more rather than run, but you saying that he's run heavy, makes no sense. If that were the case, how the hell did Tyler Shough get over so many yards, almost 3,000 yards? For a team that likes to run the ball a lot, that makes no sense, right? Kellen Moore likes to throw the ball. He likes to do timing throws. Yes, he likes West Coast, but he also does air courial attacks. Now, are we clear on that? No, it gets worse. Saints fans, I've asked you, who's your defensive coordinator? Some of your guys out there don't even know who your defensive coordinator is. You don't believe me? I got you. Hold on, we got us a
AJ, bro. I ain't talking to you, bro. Real talk, man. You ain't saying shit of value right now. You emotional as hell, bro. Real talk. And that's a bad character trait for a grown man, bro.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Who is your defensive coordinator?
Wow.
Wow, right? Can't make this shit up. Saints fans, what do you have to say for yourself? I asked a simple question. How does this individual not know who his defensive coordinator is? But this is what I'm talking about, when people do emotional outbursts instead of logical thinking. How are you going to come out there and talk about something that you don't even fully understand the concept of? When I'm giving you the basics, I didn't ask you the most like sophisticated, like I didn't ask you for anything that complex. So how are you going to get up there and then get an attitude with me? This is why a lot of people do not like the Saints. Saints fans, you are like the Eagles, but the difference is the Eagles have been successful. Where the fuck have you guys been since Drew Brees? Mind you, this team sent his ass home. Mind you, the Bucs have more Super Bowls. Mind you, the Bucs are not as old as you, and you didn't even get your first playoff win until 2000 when you guys came out in 67. The Bucs, our first victory came against you. How do you have a Manning at quarterback and you don't even win a Super Bowl with him? But have the nerve to talk about other people's organization. Your team has a tainted Super Bowl. You were injuring and targeting people. Your coach got suspended for a season for that under Sean Payton. So where are we going with this? This is why I think it's very important for a lot of people to, if you cannot keep it football, you don't need to have an opinion. It's too many people out here that think they know the game of football. And then when we ask specific questions and that they cannot understand or grasp, they get upset and then they want to take personal shots. Want to take personal shots for no reason. Just talking crazy shit for no reason. But then when we still try to keep it football, they don't want to do it. So again, Saints fans, I have questions. You say that losing Demario Davis doesn't hurt. So who is going to fill the gap of that talent pool in pass coverage? Because according to other people, he was an on-ball linebacker. Makes no sense. But again, another part of your pass defense that was successful last season was due to Demario Davis being able to be good at covering the middle, while the corners were on the outside, while you had two safeties at the top. You got to remember that is what makes your pass defense excellent, but it comes at a price with your run defense. That's why your run defense was mid last season, because you don't have interior push. Brandon Staley, your defensive coordinator, relies on the front four to get that pressure. But if it's not established, that's where your defense can get picked apart, because if you play back, you guys like to play a lot of cover 3, cover 4, and cover 6. That's how, and you're relying on your secondary to come down to make the tackles. That is why I think if I'm the Bucs, with the offensive weapons that we have, you can establish a mesh, crossing routes, get the short screen passes that will take advantage of your defense. Now, on the offensive side, Tyler Shough, there's going to be film on him, Saints fans. Do you understand? Film is going to be there. So he's not going to be able to take off running that you saw last season at the fullest extent. That's not how it works. Olave, he's got to stay healthy. Jordan Tyson, we got to see what he's made of. You got to block in tight end. That's good. But again, your run defense has to get better. But do you see now, everybody out there that's watching, do you see how I am breaking the game of football down about the players, about the scheme, about what is expected? Saints fans, they could not do that. And I know why, Saints. A lot of you just lack the intelligence, but I know why you guys. I see why you get this. You're so hyped. I get it. You heard a few people on ESPN saying some shit that's giving you the wild card. Well, I think they can do something. And you ran with it. And they gave you little bullshit surface level stats or players, and y'all ran away with it. Let me explain to y'all how this works in businesses. They can't come out and basically just say, yeah, the Saints are going to be ass, or the Saints really don't have a shot. They got to have that one announcer or commentator that's going to spark up views, that's going to get the clickbait going, because the story is going to be boring if they just say, well, yeah, the Bucs have the best team, so more than likely they're going to win the division. That's not enough. That's not enough buzz. So that person has got to say, you know what? Let me just throw this out there and say the Saints are going to do good just because Tyler Shough showed some flashes. That's where you got to break the game down. They're not going to talk about that because they didn't watch the teams that the Saints played. They didn't watch all those games. They're not going to tell you, well, they did only beat like the Jets, the Titans, they beat the Bucs when they had a depleted team. Yeah, they beat the Panthers, they split, but they're not going to be able to do that because, one, they don't watch the NFC South like that. Again, that is all for clickbait. And I guess you Saints fans, you fell for it. You fell for that shit. And it's a bad look. It's a really bad look. Now, mind you, this is a few weeks later, and you still couldn't get things done. I asked you this. This happens again. Same person, guys.
Hold on.
Oh, I know. Who was your defensive coordinator, Joshua?
I'm not worried about that. You gonna be live later?
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on.
Hey,
Come on, man.
Hold on.
Oh, I know.
Now, in that conversation, he wants to have football talk. Is that not me asking about his defensive coordinator? Does he know who he is? Is that not talking football? But what do I know? But just to show y'all how unbiased Bucs Report the Aftermath is, which you need to subscribe to YouTube, listen to Spotify and Apple Music, I'm going to bring up a Falcons fan because, again, we love the game of football, then our team. Shout out to Keeler. What's good? Been missing your lives on TikTok. Look, it gets deep, man. We got a witness in here. About to bring him up, y'all. What's going on?
What's up, AJ? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just glad to have you up here, just trying to talk football. But you've been in the TikTok lives, you've heard this nonsense. So I'm not gonna say anything. The floor is yours. What is, after listening to the Saints talk about their team, like, what sense do you get from the Saints fan base that we have encountered for the past few weeks?
Well, it's just kind of based off delusion and speculation. Like, I guess you can have faith in your team, of course. You can predict that your team's going to perform well, but constantly striking down the Bucs, the Falcons, and the Panthers, and then saying y'all are going to win the division after making not insane pickups to your interior O-line. They're decent pickups. We don't know how they'll perform. And not many changes to your defensive front after losing Demario Davis. So it's just kind of amazing to me how us speaking about our teams is crazy, but then they go over there and they speak about their teams, and then they're 14-3, 13-4. Like, it don't make no sense. And then of course I went up on the panel with a bunch of Saints fans yesterday, and I left the live thinking they have brought up a really good point. I was like, oh, they said the 2020 Browns, the best squad that Baker Mayfield's been on. And he went 11 and I think it was 11-3. No, 11-3 or 11-4. Something like that. I think I'm getting this all wrong, but
It's okay.
it was crazy to me because because I'm doing research on the fly, but while I'm doing research, they said in order to determine what's the best squad he's ever been on, stats don't matter. We're looking at the personnel and the people who are there. And apparently it's we're being stat. If we want to, we could be stat bitches if we looking up stats. The best team you've been on is based off performance of that entire squad as a whole. So if you want to look me in the face and say that the 2020 Browns were better than the 2024 Bucs, I know you're just lying, or you don't know ball. Or you don't know ball. And I should have went more into depth researching because they were like, OBJ, Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry didn't have 1,000 yards. OBJ played 7 games, along with Chris Godwin playing 7 games. And guess who had 200 more yards?
Godwin.
OBJ wasn't even a top 2 receiver on that team.
He was not. That's the problem, Christian. You just nailed it on the head. All of that, as you can see, they were basically going by the hype like the media. Because you remember, the media thought that the Browns were going to be the next big thing because of OBJ. They thought that they were going to get OBJ and the Landrys of the world, and they were like, oh, this is good. I tried to tell people, Christian, that team was very overrated. This is the best team that the Bucs are the best team that Baker's ever been on consistently. Odell is not Mike Evans. Landry damn sure ain't Godwin. Again, they had Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. But out of that, no one else thought of anything about the Browns. The Browns were an okay team. And
that Browns team, they played well for the division they were in. Now I'll definitely give them the question wherever they ask me who was in the harder division. The Browns 1,000%. But then you got to look at the team stats behind that. The Bucs defense was better. Their offense was better. Their O line was better. Their receivers were better. I think the running game with the Browns was better. But I think that's the only way you get it. But even Baker's play was better on the Buccaneers. He had more yards. So I should have done my research while there. That's on me. But it's crazy to me how stats don't matter whenever you're talking about the performance as a team as a whole. A record doesn't tell you the whole story because if I were to tell you that Bucks team and the Browns team had the same record, but one had a negative 11 point differential compared to a 117 point differential, their jaw would have hit the fucking floor. But while I'm here trying to search up stats, they're over here yelling, screaming, "Oh my God, bro! They had OBJ, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Ward, Myles Garrett." Still,
yeah, and still, despite all of that, like you said, no context because they try to discredit that, but I sent you the stats already. I showed you when it comes to Mike Evans and Godwin as the duo, they are historically in the number. So for people out there, Mike Evans and Godwin are historically together in the top tier. They're only behind people like Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. Oh, it gets better. Mark Clayton and Mark Duper. For you youngsters out there, that's Dan Marino times. Then behind Jerry Rice and John Taylor. And I think number one is Gronk and Brady. Those are Hall of Fame caliber company. And
I didn't even know that, to be honest with you.
Christian, people forget Evans and Godwin were doing this before Brady got there. Because that would be the first thing that they would like to go do. Well, it's because of Brady. No. Godwin got drafted in 2017. They had Winston back then.
That was the Falcons' peak, 2017.
All those guys that I just mentioned, those other people that are above them, they had a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback consistently throwing them the ball for their careers. So imagine if Godwin and Evans had Brady for 5 more years, for 5 years minimum. This is why, like you said, Christian, research is key. But unfortunately, maybe it's something that Saints fans find very challenging to do.
Maybe. I know that word did not just come out of your mouth.
Yeah, not maybe. After what I heard, yes. After what we've heard, yes. And then, unfortunately, because this shouldn't be surprising, taking personal shots, they did that on the field and off the field. So their fan base feels the same. They have the same nasty, dirty mindset. Because I had a man last night, ladies and gentlemen, out there asking me about my abs. I'm not making this up. I had another individual jealous because, why are you always wearing tight shirts? I'm not wearing tight shirts. I can't help that I'm muscular and I can.
Grown-ass man, too.
These are grown-ass men in here. Turning into gossip girls. Turning into queens. Just want to be disrespectful, all because they don't know the answer. If you don't know, just say, I don't know. Or Christian has said this before. Disconnect. If you don't feel that you know something or you can't take it, disconnect, guys. Now, Christian, I would like for you be real. Evaluate the NFC South from your perspective. I want you to talk about the teams and what the expectations are for all of them and what each team has to do in order to even win the division. The floor is yours again.
Yeah, so once again, I feel like the Bucs are the most promising pick, especially given what we saw from Zach Robinson, what he did with the Falcons whenever they didn't even have a receiving identity. The passing game was not there. We were top 10 in rushing. Offensive wise, we were around the 14 to 15, and then passing we were like 23rd. So if you look at all of that in a microscope, I mean, the main thing that's missing is our passing, and that's what I'm hoping we fix. So if we can get Zachariah Branch, Jahan Dotson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London all on the same page, I feel like we could win the division. I feel like we have an actual shot. But then it goes to the next problem. Are we going to start Tua and then put in Penix whenever Tua messes up? Are we going to start Penix and then put in Tua whenever Penix messes up? Or are Tua and Penix going to go down and then we're left with Jack Strand for the rest of the season? Those are my biggest concerns. But best case scenario, Tua balls out. That's the best case scenario for me. Tua balls out. Mike Penix sits out this season. He's working on his knee, and hopefully we have a winning record. But again, that's a lot of ifs on the offensive side of the ball. Now, the defensive side of the ball, I'm not very worried about. I feel like we have a very, very explosive, dominant D line. James Pierce and Jalen Walker are both returning. I'm happy about that. I'm excited about that. I love the way they were putting dents in the tackles and really forcing the quarterback to either step up and flush the pocket. We all know the season that James Pierce had. And Jalen Walker, he was good with pressures. I'd like to see him get a few more sacks, though. He always gets back there, but he's just not able to get the sacks. But James Pierce, we already know what he can do. Our secondary, I'm pretty confident in our secondary. Again, Jesse Bates, Xavier Watts, AJ Terrell. Hopefully going to throw in some Avion Terrell in there. Harrison. I mean, we got a squad back there. We just need to perform. We just need to perform. Losing Caden Ellis is, I'm not going to lie, that's a big loss for us. But when getting Harold Perkins in there, Caden Daniels, that could be huge for us. If they step up, a 6'5", possibly outside linebacker, on-ball linebacker, I see him being an all-ball backer, and then playing Harold Perkins off-ball. I feel like that would be nasty. I feel like that would be disgusting, especially with what we saw at Oklahoma from Caden Daniels.
Yeah.
So
now, what about it? Okay, now that you broke the Falcons game down, what about the Panthers, in your opinion?
I feel like the Panthers right now, out of all the teams, I feel like the Panthers are the most slept on in the division because I feel like Bryce Young, he's been getting better and better throughout the season, but I want to see him finish. I want to see him actually pull through this next season and show that arm talent that he shows against the damn Falcons every year. No, bro, it's actually fucking irritating. But Bryce Young has some insane arm talent, and we've seen it in Atlanta multiple times. We've seen it flashes of it throughout the season, but it's not consistent. If he stays consistent, he was one of the best deep ball passers in the league last season. He was one of the best deep ball passers statistically. So, I mean, Ted McMillan, if he comes back and does his thing, who did they add to their squad? Damn, receiver.
They added the guy from Tennessee. I know you're talking about. But
Yeah,
again,
I forgot his name. I'm blanking.
yeah, he's another one though that I do want to go. All right, I have to wait. I have to wait.
Yeah. And they get Brooks back on offense. He's back. He's healthy. He's been he's been in camp, I'm pretty sure, running through some drills. So you get Jonathan Brooks back, and he had a very good season whenever he was still healthy. So excited to see him back onto the field.
It was Chris Brazo, by the way. Chris Brazo from Tennessee.
Chris Brazo, that's who I was thinking of.
Chris
Thank
Brazo.
you. He could be a beast. I was so irritated whenever the Panthers got him, but the Panthers secondary, we already know what they're all about. We already know their identity. That they'll take advantage of you whenever you're passing good or you're passing bad. They're ball hawks. So I feel like their secondary isn't nothing to be worried about. Or so their secondary does not. They don't have to worry about their secondary being bad this season. Sorry, their secondary is fucking elite. I love the way their secondary looks. They play hard. They play fast. And I mean, I feel like they're kind of the sleeper of the division right now. If we had to say anybody was a sleeper.
Okay. Now give me your analysis on them Saints.
I mean, we already know who Olave is. Olave, despite being hurt a lot, he goes out there and he balls the fuck out. 1,000-yard season, 900-yard seasons, despite banging his getting knocked out every other game. He still goes out there and shows up. If he stays healthy throughout the entire season, I feel like he could have a 1,200-yard season the way passes him the ball because that's his go-to. That's Shuck's go-to guy. I feel like if Chris Olave can stay on the field, that will be the best case scenario for them. And Travis Etienne, I've been hearing a lot of talk about him, but I mean, we didn't really see a whole bunch of promising stuff from him in Jacksonville. I mean, he was a pretty useful back in Jacksonville that I saw, but fitting into that Saints offense, I mean, I can see it, but I also got to see I got to see it in live action in order to believe it. But offensive line, center, they got a top five center, but around him, you got to start building. That interior is horrific. Last season, one-on-ones were their worst nightmare from what I saw. One-on-ones were getting Tyler. He was stepping up in the pocket, but that also showed teams what he can do with his legs because he made the Bucs pay it with his legs. He made the Falcons pay a little bit with his legs, and he damn sure made the Panthers pay with his legs. He can run the football whenever need be, and that's what I think is dangerous about Tyler. You don't want to let him get outside of the pocket because he's really going to make you regret not containing him. Defensive side of the ball, Demario Davis is a huge L for them. I hated playing Demario Davis every year we played the Saints because he was always just that guy in the middle of the field who took up so much space. His coverage from hash to hash is crazy. The way he's able and his run block, the way he's able to run up into the box and lay a hit whenever he needs to. It it's just I don't see how you can replace that anytime soon. Caden Ellis getting plugged into that spot, he's going to be a solid dude for you. He led the Falcons in tackles last season. He had 107, I believe. Um, Caden Ellis is a good run box fitter. He's decent in pass coverage. I like to see him get better at that. But other than that, Saints secondary from what I've seen is pretty decent. The only notable person again, I know a lot about my Falcons, but I'm not too keen on Saints. Kool-Aid McKinstry's the only really notable name in that secondary that I can think of, and he played pretty solid last season. I liked
He
the
did.
season last season. He played solid. So if he has another season like he does, and he has some help from the guys around him, I feel like the Saints secondary could show some really good flashes and shut down the pass whenever it comes to division games.
Yeah, nailed everything on the head. Now, I'm glad you said that, but do you see that there's a lot of factors that is going into the Saints? That is what we were trying to explain to a lot of those Neanderthals out there, those basic, simple-minded ass, crazy ass fans.
Oh, and Chase Young. Chase Young.
Yeah,
If he balls out this season, I can see that defense going top 15, top 10.
yeah. Now that's a
Easy.
big if because Chase Young at this point of his career, he's going to be the bull rusher. And if I'm teams and I want to run the ball just to help out, you could put a tight end over there to chip him. It's not as if that Chase Young. I think a lot of Saints fans think, oh well, he got 10 sacks this past season. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's see him replicated. We haven't seen the Chase Young. They think that the Chase Young of the Commanders is there. I don't believe it. And I think, to be honest, between the Bucs and the Falcons, he doesn't have the ability to create havoc against the tackles on either team like the Saints fans think he can.
Yeah, and I mean, Ruben. Speaking of Ruben Bain and pressure, I mean,
Yeah.
Chase Young, I can see he's always been that dominant bull rusher. He's always able if he can get you long armed or he can at least get into your chest and extend, you already fucking lost because Chase Young is pretty explosive whenever he can get up on you and you aren't able to get an extension on that. But Ruben Bain, we've also seen in college. Again, we got to see him in the NFL. But what we've seen, them fucking big ass arms. Once he gets you long armed, you are not you're cooked. I've seen him toss tackles, some of the best tackles in college football, like it's nothing. So I feel like Jake Matthews, even though that's my guy, that's my go-to. I mean, I'd rather if you had to last year, if you had to pick between Cale McGarry or Jake Matthews, who I want Ruben Bain, I'm taking Jake Matthews 1,000,000%. But I feel like Jake Matthews might have some problems against Ruben Bain.
It could be because he's an explosive individual, but the one of the big things that I think a lot of people don't realize why the Bucs selected Bain is that Bain is a good run stopper as well. That's a very important thing that a lot of people have missed, Christian, that Bain can stop the run. Go back to the Miami games. He was cooking people in the trenches. That's where a lot of people are missing, that we don't need him to necessarily just be a pass rusher too, because a lot of teams are going to try him on the run as well. And if he dominates the run, that also opens up the Bucs to do things in the middle. I don't think people realize this, Christian. With getting Hosea Trotter, now it's not going to be simple for them to just try to attack the Bucs to the outside.
Yeah, it's not going to be that simple anymore. And like that's what we did very good against y'all last year. Algier and Bijan killed y'all through the B gap. I remember that all
Yes.
game. We were B gap, B gap, B gap. That's how I think Algier might have scored one of his touchdowns or got into the red zone. Is that constantly all we did was keep y'all out of the B gap. And once we got to that second level, it, it was wraps from there. Because I'm going to be honest, your linebackers have very undisciplined eyes. Last year, very undisciplined eyes. Not waiting to see where the guard goes. No, not looking to see where the play is flowing. Rather than sit back and scrape across and try and disrupt that running lane, they bite and trigger on the first movement that they see, allowing that duo to run out the backside whenever it was whenever it was nowhere near the wide zone right that you thought. Now we're running it through the left side B gap and you're fucking cooked. So
that's right. And that's why I'm very happy that the Bucs upgraded. Now, losing Levante is going to hurt. That's something that Saints fans, Bucs fans can admit that. But the difference is Levante is at the end of his career, and we replaced him with someone who is competent and who's better right now in this juncture of his career in Anzalone. Anzalone can do the job. Ellis is not comparable to DeMario. It's not even close.
Yeah, nowhere close.
And that's what Christian was trying to explain to you, Saints fans. If you don't think losing DeMario is going to hurt your linebacking core, Ellis, like you said, I think, Christian, that a lot of people don't realize, you just said his pass coverage is That's not going to be good when you have Falcons weapons, the Bucs weapons. If the Bucs or the Falcons start doing crossing routes, that's going to leave a hole. Ellis might have the speed, but what if he doesn't have the awareness? You said it about our linebackers. What if he hesitates or he runs the wrong way? That's going to leave a lot of openness for that defense. And again, Saints, you don't do a lot of blitzes. That's not a Staley mindset. He likes to rely on rushing with 4. But what do we know, Christian? What do we know?
What I do know is I would have loved to see Zach Robinson with this new receiving core that we got. It kind of pissed me off whenever he left. I was like, man, like we're getting a receiving core this offseason. I like the way Zach Robinson utilized Kyle Pitts and Drake London together. Both of them almost had 1,000 yards, and Drake London got hurt. He missed games, but to see him utilize Kyle Pitts the way that he did, as kind of like that guy who would chip, stay in to help out Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins, and then you'll hit him for a 5-yard check down that turns into a 15-yard gain because Kyle Pitts is just an athlete like that.
That's right.
I would have loved to see. Now we have Jahan Johnson and Zachariah Branch, and although we haven't seen any of Zachariah Branch, his ability to change to change direction on a dime and still keep that acceleration and that speed after the catch, I feel like that would be disgusting. I feel like that would be nasty.
It can be, and that is why. But again, even you had to tell certain Falcon fans, Zach Robinson was not the issue at hand. It was your quarterback. If your quarterback can't implement the vision of the coordinator because of physical limits, that's not the coordinator's fault. That's on the quarterback.
Yeah, no, that wasn't on Zach Robinson. It was a lot of our defense, because a lot of the times we were driving down the field, we just could not finish drives because of bad QB play. Bijan Robinson did his thing. That spoke for itself. 2,000 yards from scrimmage, all purpose. I mean, that spoke for itself. Best running back you can argue with the damn wall. Best running back in football.
Last year he was the best running back in football. It was Bijan.
Yeah, people try and tell me Gibbs, and I'm like, fuck.
No. It was Bijan. I'll take Bijan over Gibbs any day.
Facts, multi-purpose.
Yeah, exactly, multi-purpose. Because the funny thing is, funny you mentioned that about Detroit, because when Montgomery kept getting hurt, that put a lot of pressure on Gibbs. Gibbs is not a true north and south runner. He's not an all-purpose. He's your east and west guy. That's somebody you want. That's your lightning. You got to have thunder for him.
Yeah, and that's why I was making the argument that I did that one day about the Tristan Wirfs and the Penei Sewell. I said that, in my opinion, Penei Sewell is better at getting east to west than Tristan Wirfs is, but Tristan Wirfs is a better north to south blocker, and he can get east to west. Penei Sewell, they picked him up because they know he can get east to west and get Gibbs around that edge. If you don't have a tackle that can go seal off that edge or get that second level block in order to get Gibbs out the gate, then Gibbs is useless. All you got to do is set an edge, and Gibbs isn't shit. But you have Penei Sewell who can get out there and he can take on 1-2 blocks and get Gibbs out the gate. That's why Gibbs is successful, because they have an O-line that can do that.
Amen, bro. And that is why you got, and we're going to see, because isn't Penei Sewell going to be the left tackle this season?
I haven't checked on that. I'm going to be honest with you.
If he does, that is going to settle this once and for all. Boy, if that happens, that is going to settle the fucking score. And I cannot wait for that. So it's going to be very interesting. But see, again, this is how we love the game of football out there. So anybody else who is a fan, again, Saints fans, I'm not letting y'all up here for a while because you have to redeem yourself. You can't even answer simple questions, because if you think we're lying, again, here it is.
Hold on.
Oh, I know. Who was your defensive coordinator, Joshua?
I'm not worried about that. You gonna be live later?
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on.
Hey, hold on.
Oh, I know.
But we would have to win the shootout at home that we always have. We always have a shootout with the Bucs at home. No matter how good or how bad y'all are, it's always a shootout at home, and usually y'all win. I feel like y'all might take the first. I feel like y'all might take the first game. The only reason why I like us this year is because we have receivers to kind of combat the excessive pressure that we might get from your defensive front. So I like Zachariah Branch maybe being that guy who we can throw a bunch of screens to or short passes and make a 2-yard route into a 15-yard gain.
Yeah,
but that's hoping our quarterbacks can get the ball out on time.
Well, the schedule's up here. Since people they interrupted us and shit. We can do this, but this is the for me the worst case scenario of the Bucs. But let's just go into it now. The Bucs are not losing to the Bengals. Yes, for the guy out there who thinks that Benjamin Morrison is 5'9", yeah, we can't take you serious anymore. For the guy, can't take you serious. For the guy who just wants to be right, we can't take you serious. So I got the Bucs winning that game, and now that Miles is out of Cleveland, if the Bucs don't curb stomp the fuck out of the Browns, Christian, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So they don't, because really, let's be real, that's 90% of their pass rush.
Man, you should try being a Falcons fan. Nothing surprises me anymore. It's like, well, damn. I saw this coming.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Then we got the Vikings. I got us beating the Vikings. The Packers, because without Micah Parsons and they running back might be in jail by the end of the damn before the season even start. So then the Dallas game is going to be interesting. It's a 50-50. I think with the Dallas game, Christian, whoever is up double-digit points early is going to win that game. So it's all about who gets up faster, who can score faster.
I feel like Caleb Downs could cause a real problem for y'all, though, especially if they can throw him in there and he can play an important role. His just knowledge of the game, especially that we saw at Ohio State. Again, this isn't college football, but whenever he learns the defense and he's able to plug himself in there, he makes adjustments and he's able to put himself in positions to make plays. So I feel like if he can implement himself doing that early, I feel like he could be a real problem against y'all, and he can eventually force, hopefully, a lot of pressure situations.
This is true. Now, if the Bucs establish a run game early, Dallas don't stand a chance, because Dallas has to stop the run, and if they don't stop the run, now you got two different problems, because now if the Bucs do the play action, now they have to account for Baker, and Dallas, their linebacking core, that's their weakness right now, in my opinion. They don't have a true pass coverage type of linebacker that I've seen yet. But again,
is Overshow not a pass linebacker now, or is
he is, but he's not. I think it's one of those things where he's good, but that doesn't mean that he's great, and he would have to be.
okay? I get what you're saying. I like me personally. I like what I've seen out of Overshow, and I feel like he could be better. I feel like he shows really good flashes, but I feel like if he's more consistent, I feel like he could be a dog. Like you said, good, not great.
Gotcha. Well, look, man, one of the big things we got our boy coming in here. I'm gonna bring him up in a second. We have our co-host, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This is your defensive champion coach, the man who knows the game of football, and this is Coach Slick. Let me get this damn thing off the screen and bring him up the right way, fellas. 1 second. Let me get him all. Let me hook him up. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me get this off the screen. Get this off the screen right quick for y'all. 1 second. Let me get this off the screen. 1 moment. Where the hell did I put that? Oh, here we go. Coach Slick, what's up, brother?
Am I being special and we started early, or I'm not with the time at the moment?
I think you weren't with the time. It's all right.
Oh my gosh.
No worries, bro. We got a fellow football fan here, and Christian. He's a Falcons fan, but the man knows his game. And look,
ball.
He's a witness of the debauchery and buffoonery that look. So Slick, I'm gonna just tell you this right now. You can't talk to Saints fans. You can't talk to Saints fans.
Everyone's got delusion, right?
Not delusion. They're special needs. And I'll let Christian clear the air up for you. Christian, can you please? This is like a therapy moment. We need to. So viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. So do you think? So they were asking me, what's the best team Baker Mayfield's been on? And my first statement out of my mouth was, let me go look at the stats. They're like, oh my gosh, how are you gonna look up stats? Why not? It's obviously the 2020 Browns, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr. And I was like, well, you got to look at stats. If you put Josh Allen on a team with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Saquon Barkley, but they go 5-12, but you put them on a team with a bunch of wide receiver threes and a running back 4, and they go 17-0. He was on the better team whenever he went 17-0. So I go and look up the stats. At first, they made the claim that the 2024 Bucs never made the playoffs. They said that at first. I went and I cleared that up. And then they were saying that Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry were, I guess, better athletes than Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Mike Evans had 1,000 yards. Jarvis Landry had 800. OBJ wasn't even the second leading receiver on his team because he only played 7 games. Also, Chris Godwin only played 7 games, but he had 200 more yards than OBJ. So, I mean, I don't understand how you can ask me a question of, is this the best team Baker Mayfield has ever been on? And we don't pull up numbers, because we can make an argument about how many athletes did he have on his team, but using that logic, the best team that what's it called? Was it whenever Julio was on the Bucs, was that Brady?
Yes.
Yeah, Brady's best team was whenever he had Julio and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. If we're using that logic, but we can't use that logic because we got to look at their production while they're on the team, and that was all I was trying to say. But apparently, that's invalid. We just got to take it at face value. OBJ one-handed catch, Jarvis Landry Dolphins, and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb actually balled out, but I mean I can't talk to Saints fans anymore after that one. It was all emotion and no logic. It's absolutely exhausting.
What's so crazy about that is when you reeled off the stats, what I found quite interesting, as you were talking about them, I had a quick little snoop. You had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb on that team, and they put between them over 1,800 yards. This team ran the fucking ball successfully.
They ran the ball into the ground.
Absolutely. And that's what you want when you've got a fledgling quarterback. You don't want to make him be that guy who's just going to he ain't going to throw you to victory straight away. He's going to have his moments, but you don't want everything to be on him. And as you said, Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Allen, they're good players. They're great players. Some people, I would even say Landry's better than Beckham in some respects. Not in my opinion, but generally, where are they now? Do you know what I mean? and the athlete, but they got athletes. Everyone in the NFL is a fucking athlete. Even the fucking guy who's at the bottom of the depth chart on the practice squad's an athlete by definition, right? So that doesn't mean who's got the better athletes. Well, that's debatable. That goes with how well coachable are they? How well do they fit into the scheme? All those little bits of the puzzle get put together, and then you can turn around and go, okay. Because you can have guys who are less athletic, but if they get the scheme and they're just smart football players, they can play almost as fast as an athletic dude. You see it all the time when guys go from college to pros. Their football acumen isn't enough anymore. They have to. When you get to the NFL, you have to be the athlete and you got to have the football smarts. You can't have one or the other. You have to have both. In college, you can get away with being an athlete but being dumb. Football stupid, so to speak, but you also can get away with being an okay athlete in college, but being football smart, because if you know where things are and you know how people are lining up and you can replay better than anyone else, you're going to get there quicker just by definition of understanding what's happening.
And that's what I've been trying to say. I was trying to have a whole debate with somebody yesterday, and I was like, Demario Davis is going to be a huge loss because it is a blessing to have a linebacker that can play the middle of the field the way he did and know everyone's assignment around him so that he was able to plug himself into spots where they could not make plays. Because the biggest thing that you need to do as a middle linebacker who's also able to drop back and be a threat in pass defense is you got to know what everyone around you is doing so that you can put yourself in positions to make plays. Because if you're not aware that dude on your right just audibled into to play the flats and you go run to the other side of the field thinking that you don't have any responsibility past 10 yards on his side of the field, you turn around and they hit you with a bang 8 for 30 yards. That's on you because you were supposed to be right there where he caught that ball.
Absolutely. I mean, the Mike linebacker or the green dot guy has to know everyone's role on the field. Just 100%. Has to know.
But according to
it's difficult to find that. It's difficult to find that dude. Like it's even with the Levante David leaving, I'm not 100% comfortable with what we have at linebacker. But we have made signings that have guys who can play the position at a high level, just not maybe at a Levante David level. But we're hoping maybe by a backers by committee will help us kind of get there and bring like Josiah Trotter along, and hopefully he becomes the green dot in the future. But the Buccaneers, I think, did quite smart. They got some guys who are veteran enough that they can play those positions singular on themselves. They don't need like a supporting cast or what have you, and be that bridge for Trotter in the future. That's how I look at it, and I don't think the Saints have done that.
They have not done that, and again, but according to them, according to the people who don't even know Kellen Moore's philosophy, Tyler Shaw is going to do good, and then the Saints are a very run heavy team. They're a run heavy team. What? Wait a minute. How are they? So they're a run first team? Yeah. Like Christian asked earlier, we said this earlier. Then how the hell did he almost get 3,000 passing yards? That doesn't come from running the ball a lot.
You start the second half of the season and you almost have 3,000 passing yards. Like, dude,
with 2 bum quarterbacks, I might add. They're not like. I'm the jury's out on Shough. I'm not going to sit here and say he's great, and I'm not going to say he's an enigma. We don't know what he is because he's got a very small sample size in the NFL. And like anybody else, if you're a fan of your team and you see the sample size, we've done it all before where we get a running back. I said this the last time we spoke. Every time we saw the small sample size of these running backs, Ronald Jones was one of them. We saw that small sample size. We're like, oh, he's going to be the starter. He's going to be the guy of the future. He becomes the guy of the future, and it doesn't really pan out. Then we go to the next guy. We see Ronald Jones in Germany. He dominates. We're like, this is the guy who's got to be the bow cow. He becomes the bow cow. It doesn't quite pan out. enter Bucky Irvin, and now our hopes are kind of built on Bucky Irvin at the moment, where we're hoping. And I think Bucky is a better complete back at the moment. But it's that thing when you're a fan, you're hoping that you look at that small sample size and you go, okay, I can see potential. But you don't know what it actually equates to until you see a full season and you go, okay, this wasn't just beginner's luck. This wasn't just they couldn't figure him out. He is a bona fide fucking dude.
Well,
yeah,
Slick, look at this. Now, this was from a few weeks ago. Now, again, the intelligence. Like I said, Saints fans, I didn't do this. You did this. Why are you allowing this?
Hold on, we gotta say
AJ, bro. I ain't talking to you, bro. Real talk, man. You ain't saying shit of value right now. You emotional as hell, bro. Real talk. And that's a bad character trait for a grown man, bro.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Who is your defensive coordinator?
Wow.
Gets worse. Now, this is recent, Slick.
Hold on.
Oh, I know. Who was your defensive coordinator, Joshua?
I'm not worried about that. You gonna be live later?
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on.
Hey, hold on.
Oh, I know.
Now, in that conversation, I just want to have a football talk. Is that not a football question? How do you not, a few weeks later, Slick, not know who your coordinator is?
Shocked to the pool.
And they want to say it's yes manning and apparently meat riding for me to say that Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in the NFC South, which is why I feel like the Bucs have the best playoff chances this year. But let me ask you this: this'll y'all should know this. Who is the only quarterback in the NFC South who has solidified their identity as a passer?
Matt Ryan.
Oh, in all of it?
Oh, no, I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about right now, currently.
Baker Mayfield knows his brand. He knows what he can do. I don't think he's still establishing himself.
Baker is Baker.
So whenever you take the question mark off the quarterback position for one team out of the four in the NFC South, does that not already give you a tremendous a lot more hope than every other team in the division? That takes a lot of stress off the quarterback position, which is literally the head of your offense, and then puts it onto the rest of the ball, which we know y'all have athletes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the crazy thing you mentioned that, because Christian, didn't I say that the quarterback position, the Bucs got a major head start already? Everybody else in the NFC South is a maybe. Is you're hoping. Hope is one thing, but something established, that's a different animal, because it could all blow up. What if Bryce doesn't succeed? Christian, now in my mind, I pray that the Panthers sign him to a 10-year deal and he stays and continues to fuck that team up. I'm just saying, like, again, your quarterback situation, what if Tua gets another migraine? Or what if, Penix becomes Captain Hook? It's a lot of things. The Saints, what if Shaw, now that there's film, something that Saints fans that you obviously don't do, because Slick, you got to get back in there. Every time on TikTok when Christian pops out that fucking video and film and we break things down, I think they think we're speaking Mandarin, because then they just go, I mean, they look for the next thing when we show something. Well, you gotta let the film go some more. You only showed a few highlights. We're like, bruh, this is all you need to know. Well,
I got a thing when it comes to like watching highlights. Someone was, I had a conversation with someone once upon a time, and they said I said something like, sometimes the film lies, and they went, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, if you're watching highlights, the film's lying to you, because you're only watching the good. You need to watch the bad as well. You need to see the complete package. That's why I don't get too involved in the draft process so much, because I don't have time to watch everybody. So we only look at highlights. So when we see the highlights, everyone's a fucking stud. Everyone's a stud in fucking college. No one gets drafted that's a bum. realistically, yeah, in the first round. They're all fucking studs. You're looking at, can they do it at the next level? Do they have the right attitude for the next level? Are they going to be a personal they're going to have personal problems that they're going to bring to the table? Are they going to be professionals? That's what you're looking for. And then realistically, a part of it's kind of a hope and a prayer, because you have some guys who are absolute studs in university, and then they come to the NFL and look mid, you know.
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, the NFL is full of them. There are guys who drafted in the first round that will be out of the league and will be working at McDonald's in 5 years' time. It just happens. Unfortunately, that's part of fucking what it is. It's just sometimes the scouts get it wrong, because it's so difficult to know if it's the scheme that's helping them succeed, if it's their football acumen, or if it's their athleticism. And this is why they try the combine. The combine kind of gives you some numbers.
The combine sucks. They need to they just need to go away with the combine, because I've never saw like 3-cone drill, 40-yard dash. Like, maybe do it in some paths. Maybe I'd like to see some one-on-ones. I'd like to see what they do at college, college recruiting camps. Like, I don't know why we wouldn't do that. See them up against each other in real time.
I think that there's very good merit for that, and I think that's what you would get if you were to watch like the NFL OPA bowls and stuff like that. I think you get that kind of a vibe out of it, and I think that would be more interesting. And I think people enjoy it a bit more.
Well, you know, y'all, that's this right here talks, because they got to see that so the analysts can get their expert opinions on this. Well, I saw him hit the tip of that cone and it was really nice, and he stacked it at the end and it was really good. You see how fast he stacked the cones up? That's real good. That boy no ball. But yeah, then
I just want to reiterate that I'm in the middle of my season at the moment, and I haven't had a chance to speak to AJ about this, but we got blown out in the first fucking game, and so I had a look at the film, and I got my guys staring down quarterbacks, and I'm like, that's why we're getting fucking whooped. We were staring down quarterbacks. So I changed all my drills for the next part of 2 weeks, and they were only looking at people's hips. That's all they did. If they didn't look at a hip, they were taking a fucking lap. Quarterback, they were taking a fucking lap, because I wanted it. And also, all my warm-up drills, everything is all about looking at a hip, because my defensive coordinator loves to cone everything off. He loves cones. So, but what I've told him is, when he teaches zone coverage, he teaches to work to a cone. And I goes, but what you've done is you've forced your players to look for cones. And he went, what do you mean? I went, watch them. Just watch them on a single play. Every single time they go like this. There's no fucking cone there. But they've been so used to going, where's the cone? Where's the cone? And that's what I felt when I was watching this. I was like, all my drills originally were looking at me. Me throwing a ball, me directing them, me calling break, me doing a normal DB drills. And I'm like, am I part of the product of why my guys don't have eye discipline? So I need to change that. So I changed. None of my drills now have commands. They are all based off something that they see that would be game-based material. So if you see a guy running at you, about to block you, that's what you're going to get, because then that translates to the field. And that's how I've been doing things. It's been working so far.
Amen, bro. And then I will give the last thing, Christian, and I'll drop you on this, but this is important. So, Slick, one of them, I will not name that individual, but we're just going to call that person Missy. So Missy asked me this question and said, so AJ, I got a question to ask you. I said, what's up? You did predict that the Bucs was going to go 13 wins last season. Is that correct? Yes or no? Yes. Then, well, obviously you was wrong. So then, Slick.
No shit.
Yeah, no shit. But first of all, and Christian is a witness, I broke it down, Slick. I broke down that our offensive line was beat to shit. I broke down that Bucky missed 7 games. I broke down that our receiving core was hurt. He didn't even realize that Jalen McMillan almost couldn't even play football because of his neck. Now, I asked him, do you think that anybody predicted that kind of catastrophic shit? Now, you want to know what his answer was, Slick? It don't matter. You still said that it was going to be 13 wins.
I like to do this to people, and I know what you said because I was there. Yeah, me and you discuss these things on the show all the time. I believe mine was slightly lower than yours. We say, best case scenario, if everything goes right, we will hit about this. And I said we also have the ability to still have a losing season, but we should be in double-digit wins. We should, and the key word "should" does not mean is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying we should. It would be for me if we were under that marker. I'd be sat there going, we've done something that fucked up, and we need to evaluate it. And when I look back at that season, I can say we done fucked up in a few different places. We had a beat up Baker Mayfield towards the end of the season. The line wasn't right. I think Emeka Ibuka got figured out a little bit. He's got some work to do there. And I think the defense was so passive with this bail off fucking miles away coverage that they just allowed anybody to kind of just gain yards and get down the field. It became with a almost non-existent pass rush. And we said if Hassan Reddick becomes that dude, and he is that dude, then we could be having a different conversation. He wasn't that dude. And we also said if people, Stephen Ployer here, a lot of what ifs. That's what you're talking about when you're in preseason form. These are the conversations that we have. We turn around and go, if Bucky comes back and he replicates the season that he had last season, if Baker replicates what he does and everyone else does their job, this team could be a 13-win team. But it's could, it should, it's not, is.
Now
it's
that's
a
the problem,
prediction, right?
But with their
you
logic,
got your prediction wrong. Well, you know what? I predict the fucking the lottery all the time, and I never get it fucking right.
Right, and Slick, the funny thing, no, with their logic, this is how idiotic they were. Well, if your team, if Baker's never been on a 13-win team, how do you expect them to do that? But they were also saying, well, you gotta, they never, so automatically having 13 wins make you the best team. Slick and Christian, how many teams I got a question. How many teams do y'all think ever won the Super Bowl with 12 under 13 wins? Do you think it's more than 5 or less than 10?
What, all time?
Of all time.
Well, I think
less than
13 wins.
Oh, there's fucking loads of them.
Yeah,
it's gotta be.
Yeah, a majority.
Did it? So I know the Giants did it. That's just two that come real off my head. There are a fair few teams that have done, like, they hit their form at the right time.
Look, we don't even have to go.
You're a team that you dealt with injuries at the early part of the season, then got it
right
as it went. But you bled 4 games here and there, so you can't go 14 and win 14 to 13 games.
Hey, we already got it. You got the 97 Broncos, the 2001 Patriots, the 2002 Bucs. You got the 2005 Steelers, the 07 Giants, the Green Bay Packers in 2010, 2012 Baltimore Ravens, the Seahawks in 2014, 2015 Denver Broncos. You got the 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a wild card team. So for you out there, I hope you're watching, Missy. Having the better record doesn't always mean you're going to be the best team.
Well, it's like saying
Sam Darnold won 13 games with the Vikings with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. They still didn't win the Super Bowl. Very next season goes and whoops ass with the Seahawks with 14 wins. You can have a 13-win season and still lose.
It happens a lot.
It don't mean nothing.
It's knockout. We get to playoff football, which is knockout football. You can't. There's no extra day. You have to win that game, and someone could just have your number. It happens. You could get outcoached. You could have a player that just doesn't perform well that you rely on. There are so many variables in the game, which is why we love it. We love it because there is an unpredictability. Otherwise, the 2-1 seeds would play in the Super Bowl every single fucking year, and that would be it done.
And that'd be boring, to be honest. And that's why.
Because then, what's the point? What's the point in the playoffs?
So Missy and your Golden Girls, I hope you all learned something today. because again, Saints fans, we cannot take you serious. Saints fans, when I do my TikToks, you're not coming to live. You can comment, but you're not allowed. I think I'm putting you guys on academic probation because you don't listen and don't know shit.
AJ, you said that they said that that they're a run first team, that they're really good at running the ball.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that's a contradiction. He said they're a run heavy team. I said so they run the ball more. Run heavy doesn't mean that they run the ball more.
What they got Eddie Lacy in the backfield? The fuck you
I
mean
just
by
said, wait a minute.
heavy?
I said it again. I was like, say that again. Nah, man, you are. Kellen Moore throws 55% to 45% running. They have a West Coast.
Do you know where they ranked in rushing last year?
They were in the bottom.
26th.
Yeah, I was about to say 25 or 26.
Yes, it's not impressive. So if that's your identity, you failed. Right? you failed.
But again,
you should, if you're a run first team, you should be a mid-table running team, right? You should be.
But again,
something's awfully gone wrong if you aren't.
Unfortunately, Slick, this is what happens when Missies and Golden Girls are so upset. They want to respond just to say some shit. We literally had another individual, Slick, that tried to say Benjamin Morrison is 5'9". Benjamin Morrison is 5, and he said that all night. And Slick, I didn't even want to correct him because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to have him on 4K going, nah, bro, you said that shit more than once. Because then he'll go, well, no, I only said that one time. Nah, bro, you said that man is 5'9" when all you had to do is pick up the fucking phone or Google and just go, wait a minute. Oh no, he's actually 6 foot. Damn, like.
Bit of a difference, isn't it?
There's a major difference. 5'9" is a difference. Come on. Then we had another guy.
AJ, how tall are you?
I'm like 5'7".
Okay, you know we've met.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 6'2".
Christian, Slick towers me.
Yeah, I'm 6 foot even.
Now when we sit together, I take up more of the space. But
yeah, you do. You're the bigger boy.
Yes, but again, this is another individual who said the A gap was between the tackle and the guard.
I saw that one. That one made me cry. I was like,
again,
how can you discuss defensive tackles and you don't know that noses typically line up in the A gap?
Well, you know what's funny? He said he coaches, and I said, had me turn to Scooby Doo.
He's telling me he doesn't coach defensive line and he coaches DBs or something.
Yeah. There's no way you're a coach at any position and you don't know what an on-ball and off-ball backer is, and you don't know what the fuck the A and B get. You should have asked him what the D tackle's job is, and I bet you he would have said to get over to the C gap and blow up the run. Like, no, it's to make the A gap non-existent. That's what their job is.
And Christian, you heard this. He literally said Demario Davis is a better on-ball linebacker. I literally was losing my shit, Slick. I was like,
I don't think I've ever really seen him roll up.
No.
The only time he was on ball is whenever they would bluff blitz and drop back into coverage.
The
only time he was an on-ball backer.
Well, and you know what, Christian, I should have, because I'm like, that's why I had to put up that video, Christian and Slick, because I'm like, there's a thing called film. I'm like, I should have asked him, where does on-ball linebackers line up at? Because all the plays that I saw, Slick, he was in coverage. Chase Young on the line of scrimmage. But again, me
personally, I'm a little bit more old school. I hate that phrase on or off ball linebacker. I refer to DNs as DNs, and then guys who are linebackers that are constantly who aren't blitzers but aren't a part of the line. I would just call them edges. That's just how my brain works. But I don't have a problem.
I feel you, man.
It's just how I call it. Because technically, there's only one player that's on.
I just know if you don't know something, just say I don't know it, and that's all we got to do. But look, when I go live again, again, some of these people, like I said, not academic probation. That would be too good. They're academic suspension. I'm cutting their fast food, Christian. Get their
credit.
I'm cutting their fast food because these motherfuckers are dumb, and Saints fans, because of that, you know, they're gonna go 6-11 again, and I'm gonna be here for this. You better hope you get Saints fans. If you don't get to 8 wins, I'm clowning forever. Saints fans, if Shaw turns out to be Tyler shit, I'm really gonna get you. Alvin Kamara is watched. They're thinking about cutting him because he can save them $14 million. When they're making business decisions about moving on, but again, fellas, who that is supposed to be taking over?
Where's Cam Jordan these days?
Pizza. Nah, that motherfucker ain't signed. He out there with he signed, but he gonna be the mascot for Caesar's Pizza.
I mean, Slick, these are the same people who got mad at AJ because of shit that he said on his live. Immediately went and made a prompt of the Saints going 17-0, the Bucs going 0-17, the Falcons going 5-12, I believe it was. And I forget what they had the Panthers going. I think 8-9, something like that. I was like, bro, like in protest of what AJ, mind you, they come up and they get mad because AJ asked questions. AJ asked me whenever I got up on AJ's question, all he did was ask me questions and I answered them, which is why he doesn't grill me with questions anymore.
Because you know your thing. Again, but fellas, if you want to be a chef, they're gonna ask you, what is the temperature to cook a certain food? What are you gonna do? Tell them you don't gotta ask me that. Some of these people, you know, that's why you gotta be careful out here, man. Everybody, look, you know the old saying, Christian, he ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, or all his dogs ain't barking. The engine is running, but nobody is steering.
Whenever I literally called up that one guy because it sounded like he knew ball, and he came up and then he started talking about your abs and you getting a girlfriend.
I couldn't believe it again. And he's supposed to be a champion, and these are all supposed to look. I'm not gonna go.
I think it's easy to say. You know me, AJ. We've been around each other a long time now. Even I am humble enough to say I don't know fucking everything. Right, because that's the beauty of the sport. The sport is someone will always have a different way of doing things. When I was with the Steelers a couple of years ago, they do things very, very different to how the Hereford Stampede do, and I prefer the Steeler way. But I have to come around to a new philosophy. I don't always agree with what is bounded around at the moment. I love a simplistic defense that you have levers that you can pull. An audible blitz system is what I call vanilla defense, and then add layers and based on what I see. So I will call audibles based on what I see, because I always feel like there's always something more you can add to it. Whereas if you call a blitz and you're like, oh shit, how do I get out of this? I really don't want that blitz anymore. If I call vanilla, I can add that flavor to it. That's just me, right? You
sound like me when it comes to last night to contested catches. That was a funny ass argument that Christian was.
Y'all were pissing me. So it was a T. Higgins catch. It was against, I think it was Tre'Davious White, and he's running to the back of the end zone, and he gets his arm pinned to his side. Tre'Davious White trips and falls, pulls T. Higgins down with him. T. Higgins brings it in with one hand. The other dude starts yelling, contested catch, contested catch. AJ doesn't say shit. AJ didn't say no. He didn't say nah. The guy just kept grilling. AJ, is that not a contested catch? AJ. And AJ's just staring at the screen. I'm like, this motherfucker. So AJ then, like 2 plays later, it was against the Dolphins. I don't even know the corner, but T. Higgins jumps up and he takes it out of the DB's hands. And AJ's like, that's a contested catch. And the guy goes, so the other one wasn't? AJ doesn't say shit. And I pipe in and I'm like, the criteria for a contested catch is the distance between the DB, where the contact is made, and if the DB is making a play on the ball. What you're being nitpicky, what AJ's being nitpicky about, which is you're not, is making the play on the ball. Tre'Davious White made a play on T. Higgins, but he didn't make a play on the ball. So, in reality, they're both contested catches, but AJ sees more value in the contested catch wherever he's taking it away from the DB rather than you just catching the ball after the DB's trying to interfere with the pass.
But you see what you just said, that he didn't comprehend more value, because I knew that it was a contested catch
Of course, by the definition,
I didn't want to say shit because I was trolling him. But see, Slick, he didn't even understand. That's why Christian was laughing, because I didn't say anything. I just stared. I'm like, he was like, "You're not gonna say anything?" No. It's like the equivalent. Okay, it's like basketball. It's a three is a three, right? No matter what. But what has more value? Hitting a three when nobody is there, or hitting the three if someone is trying to block you?
Or gets a little taste of the ball. Absolutely.
That's all I was. That basically, Christian, that was my point. Oh, I knew he was right. I knew it. I knew that was a contested catch. You said it. My value to me, though, in contested catches is guys catching the ball when they're trying to play the ball.
When they're hand fighting to a degree, yeah.
Yes. That's just
rather than a guy being on a guy.
Right. Yeah. Because if that's the case,
not contesting for the ball.
Yes.
He's just doing whatever he can to stop the catch.
Yes. The reason why I like that is because that's a whole nother story. But the reason why, because I think sometimes when you're playing the receiver, it's the politics of football is different. And because you've seen this before, Christian and Slick, Carlton Davis couldn't get away with doing playing the receiver that a Marshawn Lattimore would be able to get away with. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't like it. Because the bigger name star you are, the more you're going to get away with it. Mm. That is another reason why, Christian, I can't stand the damn corner from the Eagles, because he gets away with a lot of pulling and
Quinyon Mitchell?
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, and I kind of broke it down, Slick, for them, and I was like, I can see why y'all are seeing this value in a different way. I asked them both of their favorite receivers. I already knew AJ's, but I just wanted to double check. Mike Evans, Antonio Brown. I'm like, that's why y'all see this different value in contested catches. Because if I'm being honest with you, I know that's a contested catch, but my favorite wide receiver of all time, Julio Jones. What did he do? He took it out of motherfuckers' hands. He fought you for the football no matter where you were. If you were hanging off his damn helmet, or if you were trying to pick the ball off, Julio was taking that. Antonio Brown, he would fight motherfuckers off of him because you can't really keep up with him in order to get that contested catch.
Yes,
so he sees value
I want to let you know my favorite wide receiver of all time actually is T.O. That's my favorite.
T.O.
That motherfucker can do, because he could do everything: contested, route running, yak strength, and he was a leader. So that's why when people I know that typically like Moss are assholes, but that's just me. I'm not trying to be that person. When you think Moss is,
I like Moss.
I love Moss, but again, Moss was limited. You could play Moss easier than you could a T.O. You can plan for Moss. Put a safety over him, it's a wrap. Because another thing that a lot of people don't like to admit, Moss didn't like to get hit. Go watch the Patriots and Giants Super Bowl. They baited that motherfucker to run in the middle. He did not do that. Imagine if T.O. was on that Patriots team. They're winning because you wouldn't be able to stop T.O. But I digress. That's just me. But Christian, I want to thank you for your time. If you want to, shout out to you again. You're a fan of football and your team. Tell everybody where they can find you if you want people to follow your channel or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, go follow my TikTok. It's Christian24Irwin on TikTok. Type it. I'll put it in the YouTube channel. I'll go hop over there and watch the rest of this live stream. I think I'm going to go live tonight at around 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to be pulling up film too, so we're not going to have motherfuckers coming up there with emotional arguments. We're going to do film only, because whenever people come up there and they start saying stuff that ain't true, and I go try and fact check it, and they try and say stats don't matter, well, we're going to put it up on the big screen for everybody to see. So I'm not lying. The stats will speak for themselves. Amen. We ain't doing the bullshit.
And look, I think we got one. Look here, fellas.
He was. There's this. Hey, it's an ain't.
I know. You can't make in the words of Kevin Samuels, can't make this shit up. Always a pleasure, though, Christian. Keep doing your thing, bro, and good luck to y'all. Yeah, all right.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
All right, brother. Yes, sir. So as you can see, Slick, we just, we unfortunately, I hurt people's feelings. I don't mean to, but at this point, Slick, I realize, everybody's intelligence. I'm not the smartest person. I can admit that, but there are some people now that I won't talk to anymore. If they ask me to say, "Can you come up?" I can't do that on the grounds that they might incriminate me, because that means I am literally harboring an idiot. I can't do that. I can't harbor idiots no more, Slick, because I don't want my peace ruined. Now, last night I was laughing. I went to sleep laughing because I realized, Slick, when people think that they know more than what they do, Slick, it's funny because it's a lot of people around here with the Dunning-Kruger effect. Do you know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, Slick?
No.
The Dunning-Kruger effect is that when an individual learns something and they think they know it all already, rather than having someone who understands more realizes they don't know a lot. Like, it'd be funny, Slick, if someone thought they knew that, if someone just started learning about defenses, they would challenge you and say, "Slick, you don't know the cover two like I do." And you ask simple questions, and you'll be like, "Well, define the cover two. Who protects the flats? The safety." And you'd be like, "What?"
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the biggest one I always go with if I'm talking about cover two is how deep is the drop for the middle linebacker, because it's different than normal zone coverage, and it's the only bespoke thing, other than it's the safety, the two safeties. It's the one bespoke thing that is very different to any other coverage.
And that is exactly why the guys, ladies and gentlemen, I always ask Slick for pointers on defense. I ask anybody because I want to learn. I don't know everything. I ask certain questions, and if I don't know it, I gotta Google the shit. I want to look it up. I want to research, because there's nothing worse, Slick. When we get our shot, I don't ever want to be on national TV or a sports center, and I act like I know what I'm talking about, and I'm completely wrong, and I think I do, because then I'm gonna look like an ass, and I don't want to look like an ass, because then you're gonna look like as there's an old saying, all in the toilet and don't know shit. Can't do that.
Absolutely.
I don't want to do that. But again, we'll wrap this up, I assume, but I want to give you two things that has happened because it coincides with the Bucs. AJ Brown is a Patriot. They gave up a first and a fifth for him. And bon voyage. Good for him. The Eagles are vulnerable now. Now, Myles Garrett is with the Rams. Now,
I know
it's gonna be that means Stafford is gonna retire after this year. But now the Rams are going balls deep. They're going balls to the wall. They want to make it happen. And you know something.
I worry more the case of I get it, the whole fuck them picks mentality that they have. But Jared Verse isn't a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know how much better is Myles Garrett realistically. Like, I'm not saying that there's one's dog shit and the other one's a league MVP. One has the ability to be a league MVP, has been defensive MVP multiple times. But is that extra that you're getting with him that much of a difference for what you've given up?
It could be. It could be. But again, at the end of the day, Slick, that just means that interest.
I'll laugh if we don't fucking win, because
that's my point. It's going to season it up for the Bucs now. Now you this is what we need, Slick. Now you're going to be playing. Just think of it. Bucs, if we want to get to where we want to get to the mountaintop, Rams, 49ers, Eagles, Seahawks. These are the people that you're going to have the experience to beat. So this puts everything in the right perspective. If this Bucs team is healthy, Slick, we're kicking ass. We're gonna if we're aggressive on both sides of the ball, it's going to be interesting. So the Eagles are weak now. I think they're more wounded because they don't have an X receiver anymore. So Bucs, take over. It's time, Slick. It's time for the Bucs to.
They got themselves they got themselves a wide receiver, but I don't know where.
Yeah, but he's basically another slot receiver. He's not an X. That's another slot receiver. So if I'm the Eagles, if I know people, they're just going to do a lot of crossing routes. They're going to do a lot of comebacks, curls. They're going to try to run the ball more, which is fine. But Bucs, now you see what we got to do. So with that being said, Slick, we'll catch up another time because I want us to really go over the schedule again and break the first 3 games down piece by piece. Let's do that. Let's break the games, 3 games down piece by piece. And then if we get a chance to, man, let's look at film. Let's try to find a way if we can green screen certain things and just look at film and assess it. Because I like when you assess how things go. But again, everybody, I want to thank you all for watching Bucs Report the Aftermath. Co-host Slick right here in the middle of the season. Show your support for him, please. And as always, if you want to see me talk football, sometimes I hurt some feelings, but I like to stick to football. AJ_Turnip at TikTok. Y'all take care of yourself, Slick. As always, my brother, go Bucs. And I might have to ship you one of these shirts, man. It's the Punisher.
That does look fire, man. That's cool.
Yes, the Punisher. Yes, sir. I'll holler at you, though. Take care, bro. Peace.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. I'm just going to go through a couple of comments that popped up that we haven't had a chance. So, just with Stefan Pryor, I'm going to go with. Any word on the scrimmage opponents for the Bucs? I believe that they are going to go to New Jersey and do the Jets, and they will be going to the Jags. They're trying to assess. I believe that I think the Jets have been agreed, and they want to work with the Jags for the last preseason game. So there will be no scrimmage opponents for the Buccaneers at home, which would have probably been the Kansas City Chiefs, but that doesn't look like it's coming into fruition. It looks like they want to take that show to the road. They don't really want to bring it in-house. I don't know if that's got anything to do with potentially hosting World Cup games or whatever they're doing in regards to that, but that seems to be where they're going. I myself will be in Florida from the 17th of August all the way to the 30th of August or 31st of August. So I will be catching a Bucs preseason game, and I will watch a bit of high school football and spend time with the fans. So hopefully AJ's about. If he is, we're going to another catch up, which will be brilliant. And hopefully I can meet some of y'all at the cookouts, at the preseason games, and enjoy a beer or two with you, ladies and gentlemen. But on that note, Bucs on me, Bucs on 3, 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!